Hey everybody, guess what? Brian's back over here and we're going to start our first video with this channel discussing the art form of comics. Specifically, good examples of when the artists are able to use the medium to its fullest. So I have a couple pages up by a few artists. I got just a few pages from a few different comics and stuff like that. This one is specifically from the latest Justice League, done by Robert Venditti, and the artist on this, which actually is an artist that I've never heard of, called Aaron Leposti. God, I hope I said that right. Well, anyway, it's actually this page that actually made me actually want to talk about this. So what I mean about, like, an artist who takes advantage of the medium is there are a lot of times when movies, comics, novels, and so on and so forth, they sometimes use techniques from like other mediums. What sort of comes to mind with that with a movie is the 2003 Ang Lee Hulk film, where they did like a lot of split screens and everything kind of looked like a panel and stuff like that. And it's just, in my opinion, did not work at all. When I think of a comic book movie that takes advantage of being a film, telling this story as a film, actually most recently, I'll actually use two movies for that. One would be Joker, the other one would be Logan. Those are movies that take full advantage of, it's a movie, this is how we tell this story through the movie medium. And for a comic book tells its story differently. And it's definitely up to the artist to catch the reader's eye, and it's up to the artist to make these things happen. There's going to be mainly a lot of action sequences in this, because there's not really much when it comes to dialogue, really. A lot of the good stuff always comes with the action. So with this particular page, what I mean, here's a really good example, is that, so here's the whole team fighting a bunch of these guys. They're like supermen that have been led to Earth by the Eradicator. And so what was cool about this, right, is that what the artist did is he has the entire team taking all of these guys down, but look at the way that it happens. So on the first panel, you start off with just John Stewart. He is right over here, right? He's in this this corner. And you go all the way down, Wonder Woman is in that corner. They're in somewhat of the same spot. Well, okay, she's not in a corner, but they're in the same spot, while Flash and Superman are in their same spot. But look at the cool way that he catches your eye to delve into this action sequence. This is one of the coolest ones that I've actually ever seen recently, which is, so you got John Stewart, right? Right here, he's shooting his beam over here. He's making a bunch of constructs over here. And then immediately, your eye goes down to Superman, who's using his heat vision over here, right? So now it takes you from here, it zooms you here, to Superman, who then whoosh, right over here, who then you get to Flash, who's doing his little thing here. He punches a guy, punches another guy, he punches a third guy, but he's going super fast, right? So, whoosh, just like that. And then right down to Wonder Woman, who's already taken a dude down. So it takes you on this little sort of diagonal kind of going on. That's really awesome. That is a really good way on making an action sequence, especially with the entire Justice League, look really, really cool, and it puts you in this action sequence. You see, if you pull back, you can see that this would be a similar scene, but done differently in, say, like a Marvel movie, where, say, like a big splash page, right, would be a lot of what you saw in, say, Age of Ultron towards the ending, when, like, everybody's fighting Ultron. and all of his different robots. In that scene where the camera's kind of spinning around and like everybody's sort of doing something really cool, that would be a splash page on a comic book. For this is actually kind of doing those camera angle sequences, except doing it as a comic book. So letting you sit back, look at the whole page, and it all works. It's not one big canvas. There are still separate panels, characters kind of breaking through panels, but it all works. The whole thing works. Now I think I have... Okay, here's another example. This is Jim Lee's work from Batman Hush. Not really much of an action sequence, but this is a good example of of a feeling that you're supposed to get off of this. Batman is falling, and he falls hard, right? But you get a little bit of like tense feeling, almost anxiety, as you see him as he's falling this way, and he's about to grab onto this little gargoyle statue over here, which he does, but it breaks and he falls harder. But what's also cool is the way that it goes. Since our eye is always trained to always read from this and this to go this way, it is actually taking you down. So as he is falling down, our eye is going down with him. And that's another really good example. This is another one also by Jim Lee. This one, it's not really so much giving you much movement anymore than it is giving you an idea. You don't even actually need any of this dialogue. All you got to do is just know there's a dude in here. He's taking his glasses off. You see it's Superman, and then he whooshes out. That is just a really good... That's another Jim Lee shot right there, and he also gets it too. With that, you can take all these dialogue boxes out of here and know exactly what is happening. I do believe that these are... Well, no, it's almost. These are comic panels by Norm Brayfogle. He is my all-time favorite Batman artist who sadly passed away a couple years ago. This is a really good example of Batman kicking ass and filling an entire shot up, an entire page up with a moving sequence where you get to witness Batman and everything around him just work. This is a really, really, really awesome example of how exactly a comic book is supposed to function. Not just with scenes, just function in general. And it just so happens this is a really cool action sequence where you can see this drunk guy over here, and then he's about to get attacked by these assholes over here. Batman right there, coming right in, swooping down. This is one of my favorite bits, right? So he kicks the guy, but as he's kicking him, he's grabbing him. Now, again, you can see everybody who's in this shot, too, right? So you see that's the guy that he is grabbing, and he flings him to go smack this guy. This guy over here is getting ready to go attack him. You flip the page, and he ducks, pushes him around. He spins around until he hits something over here, and then you got this guy over here, and Batman just gives a... What I love is that Norm would always do stuff like this. Like, he could just have Batman just hit him twice on one panel, and then he goes down. And it's also actually really kind of humorous like that. But I love that. I love it so much. And again, like, it's just... It's just a 2-page shot, but it gives you a great idea of how to kind of keep an action pace going and how to kind of create something like a page turner, right? So you read this and you're like, oh man, and it just keeps happening. It's just Batman just doing awesome stuff. This is the final example. This is by, I believe the artist's name is Richard Corben. He did Ghost Rider. This is another good example of a really good page turner. When you're getting like this awesome action bits, when you're really hating on the devil, and Ghost Rider is making this flaming cross just kind of hover up, and he is now just kind of seeing exactly what is happening. This is what I absolutely love, is this hand up here, and then a whoosh, and you feel this. You can feel it just because of how this particular panel is set up. When you see him smiling over here, and now he's like shocked and confused, sees his hand, and whoosh. Having this panel here and then here adds to the movement. You can see this hand, whoosh, just whoosh, flowing there, right into him. So again, there's more movement. It's really like exciting. He's going in and he hits this, and then he blows up. And it's awesome stuff. That's just good movability in comics. These are just really good examples of artists who have taken advantage of really telling a visual story in comic books.